So the stock market on Wall Street finished 2016 solidly in the green following the worst start of the year in history. So will the 2017 sustain the upward momentum? With more on what to watch in the first week of 2017 and for the rest of 2017, this is Jill Malandrino's VOA Channels TV business correspondent report from New York from NASDAQ market site at Times Square.
Happy New Year from the finance capital of the world. In 2016 will certainly be a year to remember. Let's just take a look at the S&P 500 here. Look at that dramatic rise from the February 11th low. We were down 14%, a historic low in the markets to finish up nearly 10%. It's been quite a year. It's also going to be remembered for its dramatic inflection points. Again, that February 11th low, Brexit here in June, and of course the surprise win of President Trump. It was a year characterized by turnarounds where previous laggards asserted themselves as market leaders. Think financial sectors, energy sectors. There was particularly evident in value versus growth, which are the top performers year to date. Market breadth improved as the major indices saw breakouts and ultimately reached new all-time highs. Again, look at that strong move in June and what we had in October. The bull market that began in 2009, it appears to be alive and well. Could see a bit of a pullback with long-term momentum having turned positive after deteriorating for a year and a half. Now, several analysts remain bullish on the market for 2017. BTIG, it's a research firm based right here in New York. They say their outlook remains bullish on global equities. They're looking for stabilization in international markets versus the U.S. They also believe Treasury yields will work their way gradually higher, and the dollar should remain strong. Commodity prices are likely to remain mixed with spots of strength, like in energy, for example, and weakness in gold if we continue to see the dollar move higher and equities move higher. Now, trade has been thin, and we've seen some selling over the past couple of days going into the new year. That's typical. And I would expect that we will see some selling in January as investors have been waiting to take gains in 2017 because of President-elect Trump's anticipated tax cuts. Now, recall, stocks have enjoyed the Trump bump since the presidential election on bets that he would introduce those tax cuts, deregulation, and higher infrastructure spending. That would spur economic growth. So the first 100 days of his presidency will be what we call a show-me period, and we could see some volatility around that since campaign rhetoric and what's actually put to practice are two very different things. That said, there could be some great trading opportunities for day and swing traders, as well as good entry points for longer-term investors looking to put fresh money to work. Now, while this is a short week for traders, with Monday closed for the New Year's Day holiday, there are several events I'll be watching. As I mentioned earlier, I think we'll see some tax selling coming into 2017. That will keep traders on their toes. There's a few key earning reports, including Monsanto, Constellation Brands, and Walgreens, all within the consumer space. In addition, the Consumer Electronics Show, that runs from the 5th to the 8th in Las Vegas, that always has a tendency to move tech and consumer stocks. Sectors I'm going to be looking at: TV, cars, phones, and virtual reality. They're expected to be hot topics at 2017 show. So take a look at stocks like Apple, like Tesla, like Nvidia, up over 200% in 2016, one of the best performing stocks out of everything listed across the exchanges, among other names in tech and consumer. From the NASDAQ market site in Times Square, New York City, I'm Jill Malandrino, and this is VOA Channels Business TV.
Okay, from Jill there to today's closing day in Asia. South Korean shares opened lower on Monday morning, on the first day in the new year, with the major global markets short-term investors awaiting minutes from the U.S. Federal Reserve's December FOMC meeting and the U.S. jobs data. At the stock exchange, the ceremony was held to welcome 2017 as the Korea Composite Stock Price Index, or KOSPI, opened lower 0.14%. 2023 in the first 30 minutes of trading. Trading opened an hour later than usual at 10 o'clock in the morning, but closed at 3:30 as usual. Other major Asian financial markets, including Australia, Japan, China, and Hong Kong, were shut for the New Year's holiday. Let's talk about a few currencies stories in Africa. A number of these LCY, as you may want to know it, local currency units weakened last year from Nigeria's naira, which fell as a dollar shortage in the country persisted, so Zambia's kwacha, which dropped because of low copper prices, among other challenges. In Somalia, although the central bank was working to mint a new currency, and replace the old tattered ones that have been in use in the country for over 2 decades.
From a fall in Zambia's kwacha blamed on halted mining production to a plummet of Nigeria's naira due to a chronic currency shortage, various African countries saw the value of their currencies depreciate last year, threatening economic growth. Nigeria's naira slumped 23% against the dollar in June after the central bank removed its currency peg to alleviate chronic foreign currency shortages, choking growth in Africa's biggest economy.
We are going to have different sources of inflow or supply to the market, autonomous sources, the oil companies, the banks themselves, the CBN being the big player, all other sources of currencies that, within the this new interbank framework that have been listed as qualified to play within the market. We're going to see a lot of them playing.
After decades of economic and political instability, Somalia's central bank governor was getting the country ready to mint its first currency since the 1980s to help rebuild an economy emerging from a history of chaos at the hands of Islamists and clan militias.
The last legal tender money that was produced by the central bank, that was in 1988-89. So all the money in circulation, banknotes in circulation, is fake now.
In Zambia, the kwacha went into a free fall in September and was down more than 17% against the dollar at one point, its biggest one-day fall on record, further hampered by a rating downgrade from credit agency Moody's that the government criticized as unsolicited.
As far as the sustained exchange rate, as I said, there's nothing that I see or nothing that I've read that would make me believe that this is going to be a sustained exchange rate, because we are still importing more than we are exporting.
In Zimbabwe, a new currency was introduced to try ease a shortage of US dollars. The central bank started circulating $10 million worth of bond notes in November, a quasi-currency that authorities expect will ease the serious cash crunch, but will limit withdrawals to curb any abuses.
This is the festive season. People need to buy stuff for the holidays. People need to prepare for the agricultural season. So you literally have forced people into a situation where they have no choice but to accept these bond notes.
Zimbabwe's economy has nearly halved since 2000 after the violent seizure of white-owned commercial farms and disastrous printing of money.
The state of Africa's currencies in 2016. Welcome to a brand new year, 2017. Let's see how things pace out over the next 365 days. I am Bulsin Abafayi with flagging off the new year today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again.